Here are 10 things I loved about Wheel of Time Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3, and 10 things that I was a little bit lower on. Fair warning, this is spoilers for the first 3 episodes of the TV show, but I'm not going to do any future book spoilers.
This is Fantology.
You may have heard of us.
First thing, and maybe the main thing, is I loved the actor and actress performances here pretty much across the board. I think some were stronger than others, obviously, but for the most part, this was all really well acted and really believable and really just brought me into the world, so kudos to the whole team there. That said, through 3 episodes, I am not sold on the new Matt yet, and I think this maybe speaks to the job that Barney Harris did in Season 1 more than it does to the performance of our new Matt here in Season 2. I just thought that Season 1 Matt really embodied the character really, really well, and I'm not yet fully convinced here in Season 2, but we've got 5 more episodes to go to change my mind. My favorite plot thread so far, which is surprising because going in I did not think it was going to be this, but it is the girls at the White Tower. I think all of the acting there is phenomenal, and the storyline has enough drama to kind of keep me interested and enough different character motivations. And I think Leandrin is really key to kind of holding this together across all the different characters. A few other comments coming up later, but overall, this is my favorite plotline. However, even though this is my favorite plotline, it is my least favorite set design. I think the whole White Tower still looks kind of fake, and especially the outdoor scenes look very CGI and fake and cringy. I just wish they had a little bit more budget, or I don't know what they need here, but the tower itself does not look super great. Also, all the sets are really small, kind of cramped rooms. Makes me feel like the tower is a small thing, which it's not. And the big shots are the outdoor ones, and like I said, those ones look super fake to me. So this is a bummer. Another bit from the White Tower that I really liked was I thought Elaine's character was established really well. We got who she was right away and how she fit in, and she is interesting enough and likable enough. Like right away, she's a likable character, which I think people from the books may be a little surprised with, because Elaine is not always the most likable in the text. But here in the TV show, she's someone that we can get behind a little bit more. She's friendly. She, even though she's a little stuck up, she seems to be someone that is, on the side of our heroes. And so far, I've enjoyed our time with Elaine. Kind of an overall comment, I just feel like the budget is still not high enough to really give it a big, epic, majestic feel. There are just enough moments around where it's like, that doesn't quite look real enough, or that effect looks kind of weird, or, maybe they could have spent a little bit more time writing some of these things, or just leveled it up a little bit. And I think we're still at, 60 to 70% of the quality that I think would make this really, really awesome. Still looks a little fake at times, so I wish they had a little more budget. Really enjoyed the inclusions and appreciated the inclusions of some of our minor characters here, especially Elias and Bael Doman, getting some extended time on the screen. Looks like they combined Elias and Hurin together, which makes sense. We cannot realistically include every minor character, especially those who have not read the books. But I thought both of these characters were very well done, looked very real to who they were in the books, and I appreciated their parts. That said, I think it's really a bummer that we haven't seen Fane on screen, other than kind of like a few ambiguous flashes from Perrin's vision thing that's going on. So I think we need more Fane. Like, Fane is a fun and crazy, chaotic, evil character that I think the viewers need to understand what he is doing, what's going on here with this whole plotline of the Horn of Valere. And right now it's a little unclear, and I think it's because we haven't seen the character on screen. New group of characters that we have seen on screen are the Seanchan, and I think they look excellent. I really like the costuming here. They were introduced in a fun, exciting fight scene, and the parts with Soroth are terrifying when she first comes in. Uno dying really kind of cemented how evil, how nefarious, how much we need to watch out for this group of characters. And they did, kind of have that extended, we're the Seanchan, we're going to come back and take your land thing, which, as guess was kind of necessary, and that's kind of how they act in the books too. But I thought overall they looked really cool. The main thing that I didn't like in the first 3 episodes was the tension between Moiraine and Lan. I get part of it. I get Moiraine has been stilled, and like they explained, like Varen explained, and this is very traumatic for her, and some of her actions can be excused in this way. I think that makes sense through like the first episode and a half, where there's tension and Moraine's trying to send Lan away, and Lan doesn't want to, and then it seems like they eventually kind of reconcile halfway through, and that all was fine. It wasn't my favorite, but I thought it did kind of make sense. But then from then on, like the fact that there's still drama between them, and Moiraine is sneaking away and leaving Lan behind, like this does not make sense to me. I'm sorry. I mean, Moiraine is trying to find the Dragon Reborn. She is hellbent on this one task, right? Why would she not include Lan? They build up, they have this backstory of how much they trust each other and where they first met. And this is not like a fatalistic thing. I'm trying to save him. It seems like she just straight up doesn't give, any F's and is like, see you later, Lan. And I didn't like this. I'm sorry. It doesn't make sense. She would have used Lan as, that sounds rude to say used, but that's how she would have seen Lan as a tool that could be used to help her with this mission. And the fact that she leaves him behind does not make any sense. It seems like they're just kind of manufacturing some drama here, and I don't like this. I have really liked the fight scenes in each episode. There's been some cool extended fight scenes, not like super big epic fight scenes, but more than there were, I think, in season 1. Where season 1, the biggest one was obviously the ending, which had COVID issues, but then the big fight scene at the Two Rivers. And I thought we saw like an equally big fight scene already in episode 2 with the Seanchan, and that one didn't even seem like as iconic. So I feel like we can expect more action in this season, and I think it's been pretty well done, and it's been exciting to watch and exciting to see on screen. So good job. I thought I would dislike this more before when I was thinking about the upcoming season. I'd heard about what they're doing. I thought I was going to dislike the whole everyone split up thing more, and I haven't. I actually appreciated it a little bit, but it's still not my favorite. I feel like, they build up the whole with the letters, and there's kind of this sense of, the Emmonsfield Five loves each other, and that's kind of like the heart of the show. But I feel like the fact that they're not on screen at all, even from the very beginning, is kind of tough to see. And maybe it would have been better to have them together and then slowly break off. But I guess we only have 8 episodes, so it's tough to include everything. But I feel like splitting them up right from the beginning kind of takes a little bit of the heart away from the show. My favorite episode was episode 3, and the reason why was Nynaeve's whole sequence through the Terangrials and during her accepted test. I honestly thought after the 3rd trial, or what we thought was after her 3rd trial, I thought she was going to leave the Aes Sedai, and then I was thinking way down the road immediately, like, okay, what's this doing for her character arc? I guess it could work, although they're massively going to have to compress some things, and I was thinking it might have been okay, and then I started to think this is very cheesy, that she's like running into Lan right outside of Tar Valon, like, okay, I don't like this. And then I was glad to see that, okay, she actually is still inside the Terangrial, and they think she's dead. And it gave some good character moments to Egwene and Elaine to have to deal with Nynaeve's quote-unquote death. Of course, as a book reader, we knew that Nynaeve was never really dead, and I really doubt too many people watching the show were like, hey, they just killed off one of the leads like that. Like, I don't think too many people were really convinced by that. But the characters were, and that was good enough because it supplied a lot of realistic drama. And when she came back, that was all very cool too, and kind of a good fist pump moment. So I'm glad to see Nynaeve back. Interested to see if she, I assume she will. She's not actually going to leave the Aes Sedai, is she? I guess we'll see in episode 4. I'm still a little confused about the whole plotline with Rand in Carrion with Logain. Like, did he know Logain was there at the mental hospital sanitarium place? Because it seemed like he did, and he was like trying to get there the whole time, but how would he have known? Like, did I miss something watching the show? Was there a brief glimpse of Logain that Rand saw? Or I need more here, because this seems very random that Rand is just bumping into Logain over the course of his job. Like, was he trying to take out the bully guy in order to get to Logain? Because he hints at that, and then after he hints at that at the end of season 2, Logain is like, "Oh, by the way, I know who you are," and Rand's like, "What?" And so I don't know. This is a little weird to me. I feel like we're missing a few details. Liandrin in the White Tower is once again a standout. She was a standout in season 1, but I love how they're making her more sympathetic and not nefarious, right? Like, she seems like she really does have some solid motives that are not all evil, and gives some sympathy to the Red Asha. And I've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed her kind of mentoring, sponsorship of Nynaeve, and I think it's setting up really nicely for what we can expect to see happen towards the end of the season. I don't know why they cut the title sequence. The title sequence was cool, and if you don't like the title sequence, you can easily skip it. Everyone is used to skipping title sequences in TV shows now. It was already made. Why did they cut it? This is a disappointment. And I continue to be disappointed by the lack of a map. It wasn't a huge deal in season 1 because we were following everyone like all the way through, and we knew where they were. But now that we have a few different groups we're kind of jumping around between them, not having a map, I feel maybe a little confusing for people. It just helps with a sense of scale to know how far away they are. And like when Ishamael tells Perrin that they're going to Falma, although he says Falm, so that's a little confusing. But when he says they're going to Falma, like, that's all the way on the other side of the entire continent, and I don't think people realize that. And so, this is where a map would be helpful. In Rings of Power, they have like these flashes in between scenes where they're panning over the map. That wasn't great, but it was okay. I mean, I love the Game of Thrones map. I think that's like the gold standard, but you can't just copy that. So it would have been nice to have something, some way to get us to understand how far away everyone is. Selene has been awesome, sexy, mysterious, definitely not weird and evil, right? So this character was, I think, really well cast, and I enjoy the scenes with her and Rand, and I think it's setting up really nicely for what we can expect towards the end of the season. I'm very excited to see what happens there with all of the I guess I don't want to say spoilers, but I'm excited to see what happens. Episode 2 is my least favorite, and I think a lot of that was the pacing towards the beginning to middle. I thought it was just boring and slow and not that much was happening. So overall, I think there's been a big pacing improvement from season 1, but one part where I was not interested was episode 2. The costuming I've really enjoyed. In season 1, common criticism was everything looks too clean, it looks too colorful, it doesn't look like they're actually lived-in costumes, and I kind of got that. I think I kind of agreed. I think season 2 here looks more authentic. And I especially like some of the special costumes, like the Seanchan costumes look very cool. And I like the twist on the season 1 costumes that we've now seen for characters in season 2. Everyone's kind of evolved and the costumes show that. And while I criticize kind of the overall budget and some of the looks and feels, I think the costuming has done a really good job. The Min/Mat dynamic and storyline is confusing to me, and I realize that this is an ongoing thing. We've just got introduced to it, but I have not loved the introduction to it because, I don't know, I feel like in the TV show we still don't really know who Min is, and this is kind of a clunky introduction to her character. I haven't loved it so far. We'll see where it goes. Okay, 10 positives and 10 negatives. There you go. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Overall, I mean, if you got kind of the tenor of my positives and negatives, I think my positives were more positive and my negatives were less negatives and more nitpicks. And I've enjoyed season 2. I really have. Honestly, at the beginning of the day, when I saw some reviews coming in, I was a little concerned because season 1 was kind of like okay to above average for me, and it seemed like season 2 was headed in the same direction. But so far, I've enjoyed season 2 more than season 1, and I am now more excited to see future episodes. So let me know what you thought. See you later.